It's the moment you didn't know you're waiting for.
He is Carter.
He's Chad.
And this is the Irish
365 podcast.
Chad, this is Lou Holtz. That's head coach of Notre Dame for 11 years. Greatest experience of my life. They're starting a Notre Dame podcast this summer. I have a podcast as well, but it's not about Notre Dame football, although I wish there were. But congratulations on your success. And it would be nice if I could be on your podcast, but my schedule is so hectic. But anything that has to do with Notre Dame, I'm all for it. God bless you. Go Irish.
Welcome into the Irish 365 podcast, episode 24. We've got Florida State review.
Yes, the game that was.
Was it a game? Maddie, I don't know if it's much of a game.
Well, we talked about this with Jim on the preview, and we didn't invite Jim onto the post game because we didn't think he was in a good mental state to participate.
Probably don't want to be here.
But Maddie's able to join us, and that's a good thing.
Yep.
Happy to be here.
Happy to be on.
She's in a great mental state post game. She was cheering for the right team. But we talked about this during the pregame with Jim. Like, this is a rivalry, maybe not the old long-term rivalry, but for anybody, I'll say, under the age of 60, this is a rivalry your entire life of being a Notre Dame fan.
Yep.
And so it's still the Seminoles. It's still that brand on the helmet. Yeah. And even if they're 1-7 coming in.
1-8. Don't give more credit than it
1-8 coming in, you still want to beat them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is just a team you don't want to lose to. This is a team you want to win. No matter how bad they are, you still want to beat them. It's a rivalry game.
Yep.
So I'm not unhappy.
Yeah, I was going to say, this one's going to be a tough one to talk about. I mean, this was exactly how you expected it. The Irish took care of business. We covered the spread. We dominated. It was just Florida State. We'll get into the game in a minute, but
we did what we needed to do.
We did what we needed to do.
Yeah, we did what we should have done.
Yep.
No complaints, not mad. So, yeah, I mean, for us, it was a late game. So we didn't leave home base until later in the day. So we got to watch a little football early.
Yep.
Do some other things, which was kind of a nice spin.
Yeah.
Love Notre Dame night game. So we got up to campus a little later than I'd originally intended to, but 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, stop here, stop there. We're still in seats before kickoff.
Oh yeah.
So no big deal.
Or national anthem.
Or national anthem.
Yeah.
We didn't quite get to our seats before the Special Forces parachuted in. I kind of regret not being in my seat for that. I'd like to have been in our seat for that. But
now let's talk about where we were sitting, though, because I think that did play a factor.
It did. We were in Section 3.
Yes.
Which is the north end zone. And we're on the east side of the north end zone. And it's kind of above the tunnel, but to the right, if you're facing the tunnel from the field. And you have to kind of go up the ramps.
And we were not thinking about that. We were thinking we're just going to walk into the stadium. No, we were like, we're lower section. We don't need to go up any ramps today. Like,
go in at the stadium level, and then it's like, crap, that stops at Section 4. We got to go to Section 3.
Yep.
So really kind of right above the new tunnel or the newer tunnel that the opposing team comes out of. We're just off of that. So, yeah, that curveball cost us a few minutes because there was a few steps extra, I hate the ramps.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the ramps.
And there's no stair option over there.
There's no stair option. It's like, I got to walk 6 miles to go 60 feet, it feels like. So anyway, but it was uneventful in that respect. I mean, it was good crowd at Notre Dame. I think the crowd had good juice coming into the game. They were hyped up.
Yeah, the pom-poms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the student section had the green palms out, which they've done a lot more this year, I feel like. What's that, 3 or 4 games? I'm trying to think if they did on all of them or not, but which, I mean, usually it's like once a year, like at the night game. I haven't remembered it being like every single game, but.
Yeah, and from a game day experience, Notre Dame brought out all the stops because this was a big recruiting weekend.
Oh, yeah.
For football as well as basketball. Other sports were recruiting heavy. Yep. I mean, this was a night game. It was a chance to showcase Notre Dame, get these recruits on campus, spend the day with them.
Yep.
And that was, I think that's kind of interesting when we talk about the whole game experience and what went on there. The pom-poms, the light shows, the fireworks, which we don't always get. The concert. Yeah. So I thought about this because it's like, okay, and we got to get in. We want to get into the fourth quarter because we do the overture, which is a Notre Dame tradition.
Yep.
And after the overture on night games, there is usually a light show.
Yep.
They did not have you coordinating the light show with your app this year.
No.
Which okay, fine, do something different.
Yeah.
But after we played a few years back, so this goes back to the Jack Cohen era.
2021.
2021. It was before that, wasn't it?
No, 2021. Feels like a lot longer ago, but no, 2021.
Okay.
Because Cohen, Hartman.
Okay.
And Jelly.
Yeah.
And then Riley Leonard.
Yeah. So we had that great comeback against Wisconsin in the fourth quarter at the Shamrock game in Chicago.
Yep.
And Wisconsin, it was technically a home game for them. And their tradition is they play House of Pain, Jump Around. Like that's their fourth quarter hype song. And the student section jumps and bounces. And it's been tradition for, I don't know, ever.
Yeah.
And we kind of adopted that, and our team played really well. Like it was a close game, and it became a not close game at that Shamrock game. And so we've kind of adopted a spinoff of Jump Around with the DJ Cool song, Let Me Clear My Throat, where he goes, everybody jump, jump, jump. So we picked up a similar song, but different. Well, to our surprise, DJ Cool was live in attendance yesterday.
What an honor.
Yeah. So, we don't normally hear the song in its entirety. So that was a little different.
Yes.
We normally get 30, 40, 60, 90 seconds of the song and other songs mixed in.
Yeah.
But it's all part of that vibe and the light show and everything else. But they had DJ Cool there. I'm sure it cost hundreds of dollars to get him to show up.
Some free tickets.
And when he got on the field, he did not want to leave.
Nope, he was taking his moment. He was taking his moment.
I don't know if he's ever played a crowd of 80,000 before.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's ever played a crowd that long.
That was his Super Bowl.
That was his Super Bowl. We talk about teams coming to Notre Dame and that's their Super Bowl. For DJ Cool, it might have been his Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And, he was upstage because he wasn't the biggest name musician in the stands.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some guy named John Bon Jovi came and led the halftime performance.
Yep.
And I got thinking about it. It's like, okay, you've got all these recruits on campus. You're trying to impress them. And you got DJ Cool, who later in my genre era, because I'm a rap guy. I mean, for those that don't know, that's my preference of music.
Yes. Not current rap.
Not current rap. I like more of the old school stuff. I'm an old school guy.
Yes.
And DJ Cool was like 1996. And I'm like, none of these recruits were born in 1996.
Yeah, me and Maddie had no idea who he was.
I thought,
and we're a little bit
that it was our DJ that we normally have at the booth, and he just came down, and I was like, man, he's really getting into it.
No, it wasn't the normal DJ.
Yeah, and me and Maddie are a little bit older, not much older, but a couple years older than these recruits.
You guys are just a few.
Yeah,
you're still your peers.
Yes.
So then I'm thinking, what the heck are we doing? We got Bon Jovi, who appeals to some of the younger crowd, but probably not a lot of the recruits.
If you played "Living on a Prayer," I think it would have
they know who Bon Jovi is, though.
Yeah.
And they know who DJ Cool is, maybe because they've heard their grandparents play it.
I don't know.
I think that's my first introduction to DJ Cool.
No, you've heard DJ Cool.
I've heard his song, but I couldn't tell you.
You couldn't pick him out of a.
And Maddie's a music
I can name some other rappers that would have been awesome last night.
But anyway, I thought, okay, so here's what Notre Dame's doing, and I've thought about this because Carter hears me talk about this all the time. Notre Dame's social media has been on this kick with football this year, and they've been playing EPMD songs from 1980s.
And I couldn't even tell you what EMPD.
I was gonna say, what are you talking about?
Well,
exactly.
This is twofold because one of the first concerts I ever went to,
DJ Cool?
EPMD. EPMD was one of the bands. I went and seen Public Enemy, Run DMC, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Oh, DJ Jeff.
So some of you know him as Will Smith.
Okay, get jiggy with it.
EPMD was part of it. I believe
Keep my wife's
Salt
name.
and Peppa was also part of that concert. It was a Heavy D. Heavy D and the Boys was part of that concert. In fact, one of the boys fell and died after the show.
Jeez, why are we getting into this?
So I wasn't laughing because of that. I was laughing that we're getting off on a tangent of these rappers.
It was like my first rap concert, and I can tell all kinds of stories about it, not for this podcast, because it doesn't apply to Notre Dame. But my points being, I think that Notre Dame is not recruiting the players with these guys. They're recruiting the parents, right? You're recruiting the parents on this one. The players have got plenty of other things to come to Notre Dame about, on the field performance, things of that nature, because they could have had a much cooler musicians show up.
But at the same price. Relevant.
But I don't think the baby was going to come to a Notre Dame show.
Maybe.
I don't know. Jack Harlow gets persuaded easily.
He's a Louisville guy, though.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just
know this. that DJ, Caden's first concert last night.
That's
so
right. We're going to
Yeah.
count that as Caden's first concert. DJ Cool.
Happy
DJ
to be
Cool.
there with him.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd all be able to be there for his first concert.
But there we were. Congrats, Caden.
And yeah, nowhere during this journey did I think I was going to get to say I got to see DJ Cool perform. Yeah.
We're close to Stevie Wonder.
We were across the street from Stevie Wonder, but DJ Cool. So yeah, I thought it was a great like atmosphere from the crowd standpoint for the first quarter and a half.
Yeah.
And then it got flat, but the game was not close. And I think the crowd tried to stay in it. I think the student section tried to stay in it. But when the game was just out of hand and it's in your favor,
Florida State's not even beaten. Yeah.
I mean, there was some loudness on third down, such great false starts, even in the fourth quarter.
Which I got to get into this.
Yeah.
The worst part about this season. False start. Why are we not playing the video
They're not
anymore?
playing the video.
Come on now. Those are my favorite things. Notre Dame's Stadium gets loud and rowdy. And we're not playing that video anymore.
Yeah.
Where we had 3 or 4 last night. It was like, come on now.
Yeah, the video production, I think there's been people complain about video production for different reasons, and they're trying to change things up.
They're definitely, I feel like Game Day Ops is trying to change some things around this year in video production's part. Like,
keep it fresh, keep it new.
Right.
But yeah, some things you like. I mean,
yeah, and it's like, man, we're not playing that anymore. Come on.
Yeah. So yeah, it was good. I think the crowd was good, like I said, for the first quarter and a half, and then it wasn't bad. It was still a better atmosphere from the crowd in the fourth quarter than was Georgia Tech at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
And yeah, not saying it's a bad crowd, but like, I mean, it's a night game. Like, those are your favorite games, like my favorite games of the year. Like,
oh yeah, I love the night games,
especially when you have a big program coming in. You expect a big time game, and after an undefeated season last year, like pre-season, it's like, oh man, that Florida State game's gonna be awesome. We got tickets early. Like, this is gonna be great. And it was kind of like, all right, yeah, the first quarter was pretty electric. Second quarter was pretty, like, it was loud in there. Everything was cool. Pre-game fireworks show was sweet. Like,
yeah.
And then it was just like, all right, well, third, fourth quarter, that game was over. Everyone knew it. Florida State knew it.
So from the game perspective, we'll talk about the game, but just from the experience perspective, I guess, Maddie, anything like from the game day operations side that you liked or didn't like yesterday?
I think that Florida State definitely had, when they came out with their own banner, I was like, whoa. I was like, hold on
that was
a
definitely
second.
something different. Yeah.
I thought that they came in undefeated with that banner.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was like, okay. I was like, that's definitely a factor. I was like, I wish we had something like that. Which we do with our leprechaun running out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But having your own banner at
like on the road.
Yeah.
Like, that was definitely different. Like, if you didn't see it, like, it's almost like, I won't say a high school team, but like
it was Pee Wee football to me.
Yeah.
It was this great big banner that was 8 foot tall, 12 foot wide, had the Velcro down the middle so they could run through it really easy.
Yeah.
It just felt a little like on the road. It felt a little giant.
And I've seen teams do that, like, at home and stuff, but like,
if it would have been a home game or something, but they come out of the visitors tunnel and they ran through the banner. Yeah. So Maddie, good observation, because I thought
if they get hype on that, then that's how they came. I'm not gonna
clearly
lie.
they didn't.
They need
they did off the first play.
Okay.
They came with a little bit of
Their
fire. They
defense.
lost it, but they started with it.
They should have ran out of that every quarter.
Yeah.
They should have ran out
Every time they were going out in the field, just run through it, like every possession.
You know how they put the banner up?
They're like subbing. The guy's got to run through it.
To shade the guys that are giving the signal. They should have used that behind the guy signaling the play so you could find them on the sideline.
Yeah.
And then the team could have ran through it the start of every series. That
might have been a game changer.
You know what? If you're Florida State, you need whatever you can do. So, Maddie, let's send that into
Perfect.
Anything else?
I don't think it could hurt him.
Yeah,
No.
it's definitely not going to hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the fireworks yesterday.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought, like, their fireworks were a little more than usual.
Now, here was my thing on the fireworks. We didn't get them after a touchdown score. That's what kind of was expecting. Like, when we scored to shoot them off, like, not as many like as they did pregame. Like, but like
2 or something.
Like, just off the end zone or something. Like, I expected 1 or 2.
Would have been sweet.
Yeah.
But I think they might have ran out of fireworks if they had to shoot them every time they scored.
Yeah, maybe that was the concern.
Like,
they budgeted for 4 touchdowns, and if they got more than that, they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. So if you start it, you got to finish it.
Oh yeah.
You can't.
But I think you buy a crap ton and then you shoot the rest off at the end of the night. So
yeah, I mean, maybe they're saving
in the hopes of winning. Yeah.
Maybe they're saving them for senior night.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe it's just a logistics thing. Like, they didn't have it set up where they could load them up, reload them, and load and reload them. So they had them all loaded up for once. They did them pregame, and that was kind of it. But I thought it was a nice touch for the night game. I wouldn't want to see it every day.
And then they did at the start of fourth quarter they just shot some fireworks.
Yeah, after the during the DJ Cool performance, which I thought it was funny. Going back to DJ Cool, the game was pretty much over, and there were some older gentlemen that I don't know, 15 years, 20 years older than me, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
They were in our row, and they were heading toward the stairs, and they were going in front of us. And I'm like, "Oh, you stuck around to see DJ Cool? Now,
because they literally like once the fourth quarter started.
Yeah, they just waited until the fourth quarter show was over, and then they didn't leave during the fourth quarter show. They waited for the show to be over, and then they left. It's like, okay.
But if they stayed, it was just like, oh, Notre Dame light show or something like, and then they got
They got their money's worth. Yeah. They got their money's worth.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would have paid $2 more had I known DJ Cool was going to be performing live.
Maybe they upcharge you $15 more. You even realize.
I'm okay with that. I got my money. Yeah. The way I see it is I paid for a DJ Cool performance.
And got a free
I got a free Notre Dame game.
Wow.
So.
I mean, what an honor then.
It's all on how you look at it. So anything else from the game day experience that stood out yesterday's game? I think it was kind of as expected. I thought the experience was good.
Yeah.
Light show was good.
Yeah.
So
I think really tying into the popular times, Taylor Swift has those bracelets that light up. Mm-hmm. If we had it in our budget, that would be awesome.
Like they did for Ohio. They did that for Ohio State.
That'd be
last
sweet.
Year.
We did it a couple of years ago too. At one of the night games, they had bracelets.
Yeah, I think it was just Ohio State last year was the only one where they did bracelets.
Yeah, I think they did 2 years ago too.
I don't remember that
for the night game. I don't remember which. North Carolina, was it North Carolina? We did a night game for bracelets.
I don't remember having a bracelet. But
anyway, but yeah, could have been. Hey, and Taylor was just in Indy recently. I don't know why we couldn't get her stick around and her to do the fourth quarter song.
Yes.
I mean, we could have had her in there singing "Shake It Off" or something.
Yeah, really got the guys fired up.
I bet there's a lot of Swifties on the team.
I bet. Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're going for recruits and recruits' parents. They're definitely going Taylor Swift is probably their number one genre.
Hey, you never know.
Unless they're going for their girlfriends, then maybe.
Well, yeah. That's
says the Swiftie.
That's a whole other.
I'm not saying I'm not a Swiftie. I'm just saying
no Swiftie hate in this family.
No, come on now.
All right. So yeah, that was it. I guess Maddie, you haven't hit Marcus's fits very much. You've not been able to be on the podcast. Did you get a chance to check out the fit last night? How's he done? Always.
He was easy to spot last night. He was the only one wearing the vest. I am aware of a vest, not currently, but religiously. Mine's heated. I'm hoping that his was, but the way that he was moving up and down the sideline yesterday, given it wasn't as intense as most games, he was still very mobile and active on the sideline, which I appreciate. But no, he was, per usual, cold and looking very professional yet functional. Yeah. So,
okay, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
All right. I won't do that again.
Thank you.
Sorry for anybody on YouTube.
Please start listening on a different platform. We don't have to see that.
Yeah. We are very, very Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast friendly show. You don't have to see the video.
No.
We don't blame you if you don't want to see
We'll
the video.
post a reel, but definitely not of that. I mean, come on now.
Okay. So, yeah, I thought Marcus has been bringing it all year.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Under Armour doesn't sell the coaches collection like a bigger choice of that, because
they hate money, as I know.
There's a lot of swag out there that people would buy if they would just give them the opportunity to get some of that.
But they've gotten a little better at that. We don't be completely hateful on that.
No, they've gotten better. Definitely gotten better. But yeah, it's one of those things. And I like this Marcus Freeman we've seen the last, this year.
Yeah,
he has definitely been more.
He's not messing around.
Animated.
Yeah.
But and I kind of wonder if it's not a little bit of the Shrewsbury effect.
No. That's a bold call right there.
Like him and Shrewsbury have gotten to be pretty good.
Don't put them on the same platform.
All right. Don't hate Shrewsbury.
They are not on the same level.
All right. Maddie, we'll let your Purdue bias hold off for just a second. I'll make my point. But Shrewsbury, when he coaches, he's turning around and he's interacting with the team. He's more personality showing. And I think we've seen more of that out of Marcus. I think Marcus has shown his personality. He's been more of a leader, more firing up. Little less Brian Kelly trying to be stoic unless he's, yelling kind of a thing. I don't know what all the coaches. I don't think Trussell, who Freeman played for, I don't think he was ever a real overly emotional guy on the sideline. To my recollection, he coached at Cincinnati. I don't remember Fleck being like a real emotional guy on the side, or Fickle being a real emotional guy on the sideline. So I think it's kind of Marcus's personality kind of coming through, and I like this. I think it's good for the team. I think it's good for the whole genre. I mean, it would have been easy for this team to give up and not get excited coming into a very low performing, underperforming Florida State game. And we didn't see that yesterday. I mean, we saw the team come out. We ran our first series to perfection, and we scored. Right?
Yep.
Like it was good. So I think that's kind of that Freeman influence on the whole thing.
Yeah. So getting into the game, I mean, you definitely agree. Freeman's been more animated, but I think that's just him getting more comfortable and just being himself. I feel like not that he's not been himself the last 2 years, but just figuring out the role because he's a first-time head coach. Now, year 3, he knows, like, okay, he's comfortable. He's used to it. He knows the expectations. He knows everything going on in the week. It's not his first time doing it. It's not his second time. He's like, okay, I've done this before.
Yeah.
Like, let's just take care of business. That's
and in year 1 and 2, he had to be a little bit more like, hey, this is a big-time program. This is a nation's premier program.
Yeah.
I'm a first-time head coach.
Yeah.
He was probably a little more reserved because he didn't know, like, how him being himself would get perceived by others.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of comfortable with his own skin, and I'm all for it. Like, hey, do what you're going to do, Marcus. Coach the way you're going to win. You're going to coach. Win if you're going to win. Lose if you're going to lose. But do it your way so that if it doesn't work out, because, I mean, after NIU, there was people calling for his head.
Oh, yeah.
If it doesn't work out, at least you can go and say, I did it my way, and it didn't work. But I did it my way. I was true to myself. So I like this, and I think being true to himself is going to be very, very good for us.
No, 100%.
So, yeah, I mean, we come out, we opened up strong. The first defensive series was kind of what I expect. We give that South Bend but don't break approach.
Yep.
We let Miami get some yards. They got some chunk yards.
Florida State, not Miami.
Yeah, Florida State. Gosh, I'm thinking about the talk after this.
Yep.
But we get Florida State some yards. We saw what they wanted to do. We saw what their tendencies were. We understood their playbook, what they were using. And then after that, we made the adjustments.
Right. But I mean, we let them go on a 16-play, 7 minutes and 52-second drive. Like, that was a long drive. Like, and we went and scored in the first 2.5 minutes, I think, 3 minutes. Like, we drove that ball down the field quick. And then it was like, oh my gosh, Florida State's like pounded us down right now. Like,
and as they were driving, you're starting to go, oh, we're going to get that Florida State that's coming out to play. That Florida State
exactly.
That kept it close to Clemson. That Florida State that's got something to prove.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we got. And they were building some confidence.
Yeah.
And then they got down to where we got past the bend point where we weren't going to bend anymore. We weren't going to break. And then we shut it down. We held to the field goal. And then you're like, whoa, what's going to happen here? And then our offense was a little stagnant the next couple of series.
2 3 and outs, I think.
Yeah. And their offense went stagnant for like the next 6 series.
No, the rest of the game, really.
Yeah. I think I saw they had 200 and some yards total offense.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
And 65 of it came on the first drive.
Yeah. That's
like
10 for 26 through the air all night, 88 yards, and then 120 on the ground. So 208 total. I mean, once after that first drive, it was kind of like, all right, the Irish defense locking down nothing else tonight.
Yeah. So,
and then, I mean, they went on that drive late. So I wonder, and that was on we had subs in at that point. So yeah, it was definitely like 2 drives, I'd say, that really had them. And then we obviously get the interception on it, but we'll get that later. But
yeah, no, I mean, it was, again, we were up, and then we had a couple stalled drives, and then Price had the big run.
Yep.
And that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was like, you felt like we had to score that drive.
But so back to this, like, Notre Dame State was loud last night, like, and no doubt about that. But that first Riley Leonard touchdown goes on a review pretty quickly, and was kind of like, place was loud. And then the Price touchdown got called out, and then like got called touchdown. So it's never as loud like after a touchdown when it goes to review and then comes back. Oh, it's a touchdown. Like, it gets loud, but takes away a little bit from that. Like,
and a little credit to the game day ops crew.
Yeah.
When Price scored.
Yeah. Oh, Maddie knows this one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What we get? We got
the prices right.
That's right. We got a little new little prices right. Yeah. So they played the little Prices Right too.
Because they've been giving Jeremiah Love
the Beatles.
Always,
all you need
is love.
So yeah, it was nice. Prices Right last night. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. And I thought that was really good. We even saw some Jaden Greathouse. They had queued up for Jaden Greathouse last night. And he didn't score a touchdown. Yeah. But he had like the whole series where they kept throwing him the ball and he ended up on the one and then ended up scoring.
Yeah.
But they played Little Commodore's Brick House.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Like
My House by Flo Rida would have been a good one too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, that was, so I was like, yeah, okay. They've had that queued up for Greathouse. They just haven't got a chance to display it yet. But he's coming around.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, okay, we could go through the game. I don't think there's a whole lot to go through the game after the Price touchdown. It just it just was all Notre Dame. It was all one-sided. But defensively, I thought we looked really good.
Yeah.
We did have an injury to Cross.
Yep.
And that was a little bit of a concern, but it sounds like that's just a high ankle sprain, nothing to get too much.
Yeah, should be back. Probably could have returned. Talk was as if he could return. Freeman said in the post-game press conference, but didn't push for it.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was like, okay, that was it. But, I mean, like, defense just played good. Defensive line played good. Young, that dude's just he's on the rise, getting better. Yep. Clark looked good yesterday with his pick. There was just a lot. Our defense is playing great. Now, it's hard to judge against a underperforming Florida State team. Yeah. But we did what we wanted to do, how we wanted to do it defensively outside that first series.
And 8 sacks yesterday.
Yes.
That's a nice stat to have leaving a game. Even if it's against a bad Florida State team, 8 sacks is anytime you leave the night at that. It's like, all right, let's go.
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to Jim because Jim said the offensive line was a turnstile.
Yeah.
And they showed they could be.
Yeah.
So offensively, though, I thought we looked good offensively.
Yeah.
The offensive line continues to get better. Riley's passing continues to get better.
Yeah. Receivers dropping a few balls. He had okay stats.
14 for 27.
Yeah, I think that's what he ended up with. Yeah, 14 for 27, 215 yards, 8 yards average on pass attempts, 1 touchdown, and 87.5 QBR.
Yeah.
So, not a bad night. And there was, I think, 4 I'm thinking off the top of my head. There was hit guys, not perfect balls by any means, but hit guys in the hands where they should have caught them.
Yeah, but he was a 52-ish% at 14 for 27. It could have easily been 60s.
Yeah.
Could have been. Yeah.
And here's my shout out yesterday. He only had 2 catches, but Jaden Harrison had 2 really nice catches. The grad transfer from Marshall.
Yes.
And he's had, I think, a few receptions this year, but it was he had a couple. He had one on the sideline, I believe it was. Oh, man, that was a really nice catch. So played really well.
And I liked seeing Dion Colsey get the catch yesterday. But even more so, he was blocking his butt off that field. He was Colsey was bringing it yesterday, and that's one of those things that people will always give credit to the receivers for. We talk about with the running backs and the blocking, but Colsey was and Mitch Evans.
Yeah, I was going to say, got his first touchdown of the year yesterday.
That catch that they called not a catch was so close, and it was okay. But yeah, he looked really good, and I think getting him into the flow of this offense makes a huge difference. So when you think about where we're at, we've got 3 games left in the regular season. Mm-hmm. We got to look at it one game at a time.
Right.
We got to focus on that Virginia game next. But when you look at where this team is, where they stand, defense is good and getting better despite injuries. Offense is continuing to improve. We're getting more and more weapons. If we get Faison, Greathouse, Price, Love.
We had Love dropping
Evans
yesterday.
We get all these guys going, and we get Riley Leonard to where he's actually giving those guys chances to catch balls.
Yeah.
This is a very, very exciting team going into that playoff. If that all things hold well. So, anything else from the game stand out as far as players?
I don't have any. Maddie, you got any?
There were a couple individuals that I thought was that kind of
deserve a shout out or need to call out.
Shout out that were kind of stopping us personally.
Well,
I think the referees really were our biggest challenge last night.
ACC officials.
Man. I don't know what they have against us, but
man,
I don't think they have anything.
They calm down a little bit, but
I think they're just terrible refs in general.
They just suck at their job.
They're not. Yeah.
Do your job.
Yeah.
That is the award for last night. They get the award.
I think across the country is what
I saw this on social media yesterday, which I thought was pretty funny. There was an Oklahoma fan posting on social media, and it was because Tommy or Drew Pine was the starting quarterback for Mizzou yesterday.
Missouri, yep.
And he basically goes on there and posts the video of Drew Pine answering the phone and Tommy Reese telling him to do his job. And he's like, "This is really the quarterback that we're facing."
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for that guy today because
that's the quarterback you lost.
Missouri just beat you. So anyway, sometimes karma can be difficult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the referees were a little wonky on a few calls, but I've seen much worse.
Yeah.
And the game got out of hand, so the referees
didn't make a difference. Thankfully,
didn't impact it. Good, bad, or indifferent either way. That gets us into it was good. It was just a good, solid performance from Notre Dame.
Yep.
It was what you expected. We didn't stumble. We didn't play down to our competition, which is what we can't do. We got the style point win.
Yeah, so
which we need.
covered. 25 is a lot of points to win by, and we did that by a lot. We'll get into this a little bit, but margin of victory makes a big difference this time of year when you're comparing like opponents, all that stuff. But I think something we got to get into real quick before we get into the landscape of college football. We had a contest this weekend.
Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
And we had over 45 people who participated in this contest. So shout out to all the people. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, no one won. Close. And I think someone threw a jinx out there.
I saw it.
I mean, I saw it with my own eyes. And
Mid-game.
And I hate to be this, but I'm the one that got jinxed by someone on social media.
So I thought it was funny because one, you're not eligible to win the.
No, I'm not. I just put my score out there because I'm looking for bragging rights out there. I'm not going to keep the jersey for myself.
But
I don't know if this person knew that who I was, like if I'm on the podcast, and I don't think they did. But
they didn't make that connection.
No, and that's fine.
But I thought it was awesome that they were like
they were definitely scrolling.
They were, and I think Maddie, you texted Adam and.
Yeah, I went on there.
It's like, are you trying to jinx Carter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Do you believe in jinx?" ? And then they were like, "Yes, because," and then they put their score.
So
and I respect it.
Yes.
I mean,
hey, like
if I wanted that Sam Hartman jersey bad enough, I'd jinx them
wanted
too.
them to win the Sam Hartman jersey at that point. Like, I want you to win this jersey. You deserve it.
So a little context: the score is 45-3 with a few minutes left. Like Notre Dame just scored,
and that was your predicted score,
and that was my final score. So I had 45-3.
And if you have to know anything else, I got to go into just a little bit of a context. Carter's competitive.
Yeah.
And it's eating him alive that I got the Georgia Tech.
Yeah, he got one right this year, and I haven't.
Now he wants to get one right.
Yeah, so I've been like,
so man. He was feeling good that this 45-3 score was setting there.
And this guy, I'm forgetting the name on it now, and I'm so sorry about that. But
you don't have to call him out like that.
I know, but he literally ats me like right after we score. Congratulations. And I'm looking, I'm like, there's 4 minutes. Like I'm at this
He's
game.
Superstitious.
It's not like and I'm not
He's
like
not superstitious.
No, I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious. Come on now. And like it's not where I'm watching this on TV and it's delayed and the game's final and I just don't know. I'm at the stadium.
Yeah.
I'm there with my own eyes and I'm like, there's like 3.5, 4 minutes left here. What do you mean congratulations? And I go scrolling the socials and he's got 45-6. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. He's jinxing me.
He's putting the hex on you.
And it worked.
What kind of voodoo he got?
The audacity. And Florida State starts driving down there at the end. I'm like,
yeah, because we got young guys in. Florida State's making a drive.
No.
And then the conversation is, well, do you think they'll kick a field goal or do you think they'll go for it?
And I think it's 3rd and 10, right? When they throw and it's like, oh crap, if we get a stop here, are they gonna kick it?
Are they gonna kick it?
Are they gonna kick
or are they gonna go for it?
And I've never been like I didn't want the pick six. I was calling for the slide down. I'm glad we scored, style points, all that stuff.
Sure, because I'm sitting right next to you and he's yelling, hold, hold.
The
I'm
line.
like, oh
yeah.
my
But if
God.
you're Luke and you got your first interception in a Notre Dame game and you're a sophomore safety who, I mean, the kid's from Wyoming. He won a couple of state championships. He was a 3-star. Like,
all props to him.
Underrated
I was selfish
player,
last night. I'll admit it.
Like underrated player, and I'm sorry, he's probably really, really good and could start a lot of places.
Yeah.
But you look at the Notre Dame depth chart, and like
he's young.
He's a sophomore.
Yeah, I was saying,
he's got like young. I mean, he's played in a lot of games.
Yeah.
But you're in, show out.
Yep.
And you got the ball in open field. Go. And he played. He was quick.
Yeah.
He showed good speed.
Hey, but the Florida State quarterback almost came in clutch there. He almost caught him.
He almost
but
did.
Then he fell up. I think he got gassed. But anywho, I mean, that was just. It was a lot of fun. Made the end of the game really exciting for us. I don't know about everyone else that like knew the score, but like checking like, oh, did anyone get the score right this week? And like kind of rooting for people. But then, I mean, it made it entertaining but sadly, no one had 52-3.
Yeah.
And so the jersey contest lives another week.
So I mean, you guys, you people out there, you got another chance next week to win the Sam Hartman signed jersey.
It's there. It's available. And we're so close.
Yeah.
Oh, so close.
Oh, man. And if we get 45 more submissions next week, I don't see a chance we don't get this next week given away.
Yeah, that's a lot of people guessing the score.
Yeah.
And, that's I think we got to do this.
What's that?
If we get to the final game of the season, like we get to that last game of the year and we got USC, I think we got to figure out a way to like close the score wins.
Yeah. We'll figure something out. We got the playoffs though still.
Yeah, I know, but
We'll figure something out. We're giving this thing away. Don't you worry. Worst case, we'll do a blind draw or something. But
That's right. Everybody who submitted, we'll figure out something.
But it does have to be submitted before the game.
Yes.
We did have some
people out
friends
there
that we know.
Yeah.
One that went to the game and it was his first concert decided to comment the score.
He's like, I'd hit before the game ended. There's 20 seconds left. Come on now.
That doesn't count. Yeah.
Got to get those submissions in.
I can usually pick the winning lottery numbers after they're drawn as well.
Usually, not all the time though.
I got it right once.
Yeah.
So I think it was exciting. It's exciting to see that we got some interaction going on the social media side of things. The interaction with the fans, the comments, those kind of things are way up.
Yeah.
And that's always fun.
Fun for us. So we appreciate it so much.
Yeah, we do. Because
seriously, your feedback and your interaction just makes it so much more fun for us.
Yeah, we're having a good time sitting here having the conversations we normally have in front of a camera and a microphone, and we're just thankful that others are finding it somewhat entertaining as well.
Or just going for sign Sam Hartman jersey.
And maybe they just want the jersey. And he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Christmas is coming up. Yeah.
So, all right. So let's talk about college football playoff landscape, because that got wonky yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, we had some upsets.
And I'm still not sure. I know AP's come out, coaches polls come out since we've started or before we recorded this, and Notre Dame's kind of that 8 spot again.
Yep. 8 in the coach or in the AP, 7 in the coaches.
But what will the college football playoff?
Yeah, that's the big question, right?
Because
that's the big one.
You had Miami lose.
Yep.
You had BYU win close.
Yep.
You had Georgia lose.
You had IU win close.
And you had IU win close. And I don't think IU gets hurt, and I don't think BYU gets hurt in the loss, because they're still both undefeated.
Yep.
Now, how much does the Georgia loss hurt Georgia, and how much does that win help Ole Miss? I think that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Because they gave a lot of love to Penn State after Penn State lost to Ohio State. They didn't drop much.
Yeah.
And I get it, but at the same time, I don't know that Penn State's got a great resume. So I don't know how much damage the loss for Georgia will do, losing to what I think people consider to be a good Ole Miss team.
Yeah, 2-loss Ole Miss. I believe played with a backup quarterback yesterday. At home.
Yeah.
At Ole Miss, I guess.
At Ole Miss, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. So the coaches, or the AP poll put them, which I go off more than the coaches poll, Ole Miss at 10 and Georgia at 11, and then Miami at 12, which I found like an interesting combination. So they did, because you got to remember, Georgia and Ole Miss are both 2-loss. So if they're both 2-loss, you got to have the one that beat the one in front of them theoretically, right?
Yeah. Theoretically.
So.
But I think I saw a tweet yesterday. Someone was saying, like, it's hypothetical that there could be like 8 teams with 2 losses in the SEC at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you rank? And I think the other thing is the AP and the coaches poll are both giving the Big Ten a lot more love.
Yeah, well, the AP has 4 out of the top 5 in the Big Ten.
And Texas,
when everybody's in the Big Ten, it's easy to get a lot of teams in there.
No kidding.
Yeah, but then Texas is like the only SEC team in that group, and it's like, who's Texas beat?
Yeah,
like their quality win isn't like this awesome quality win.
Yeah,
and they still have to play A&M. Do they have Tennessee as well?
No, Georgia's got Tennessee.
Georgia's got Tennessee still.
Yeah, Georgia, Tennessee this weekend. So that'll be another big one. So yeah, people are saying obviously Georgia moves back this week, but they beat Tennessee this week. Then Tennessee will fall back, and Georgia will jump back up, and it'll be a whole.
I have no idea.
No,
how the committee is going.
Usually I feel like we start to get a feel of it and stuff, but it's like this week I really have because we talked about this yesterday. Alabama won 42-13 against LSU yesterday.
Yeah.
Is Alabama not going to jump us? Like a 2-loss Alabama? Like,
I don't know.
They beat a team behind us, but they went on the road and won in convincing fashion. Is the committee going to really love that? It's an SEC team. We beat a Florida State team that wasn't very good by a lot at home. So that's what I don't know.
But we beat Georgia Tech, who beat Miami who was number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's all these what ifs. So.
And I don't know. We're not going to know for another couple of weeks and what the committee really thinks. I think we're going to see jockeying around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was the first 4-team playoff and the initial ranking. I think Ohio State was ranked 16.
Yeah.
And they turned around and won it all that year.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of funny that Ole Miss was 16 and all of a sudden they've got themselves in the conversation. Whether they can sustain it or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, that's kind of interesting in the whole mix. And then I think it's kind of like, where are we going here with Notre Dame? Like, how does this affect us? Because there's The Miami loss to Georgia Tech is good for us and
Yeah.
bad for us in both ways.
I don't know if it's bad for us.
Well, I like Miami ahead of us because I'd like to go to Miami and play them in a neutral site, but that may not happen. But
no, I was going to say because Miami's going to, if they win the ACC, they'll be a top 4 seed either way. But we got comp opponents though against Miami. That's the nice part. So hopefully, I mean, they obviously lost to Georgia Tech. We beat Georgia Tech by 13. I'm thinking off the top of my head. They beat that Florida State team by 22, where we beat them by 48. 40.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just we got comp opponents, and then there was another one I was thinking. Louisville. We both beat them by 7. But if you watched our game against Louisville versus their game against Louisville scored late, got back into it a little bit. Definitely would have liked to have a few more, win that game by a little bit more, but we'll still take it to this point.
Yeah. The good thing I think is, people are giving IU a lot of love, and we've talked about IU not having a great strength of schedule.
But dominating who they've been playing.
But they've dominated who they've played. I think their average margin of victory is like 14 points, 14 and a half points, something like that. Do you know what Notre Dame's average margin of victory is after NIU?
28, 30 something?
33.9.
Yeah, that's not a bad spot to be
So
at.
if the committee's looking at that and you say, okay, Notre Dame did stub their toe against Northern Illinois.
Yep.
After that, they have dominated everybody they played. And some of those teams have been ranked teams.
Yeah.
These are teams that were ranked in the top 25 the time we played them. So, our average margin of victory is very high. So that's got to play well into our favor.
Yeah.
But I just don't know where they're going to rank us.
Yeah, it's definitely good. Yeah, I don't know. I could see us being still at 10 for the college football playoff, and like I said, Alabama jumping us, and Miami still being in front of us, Georgia still being in front of us. But then I'm like, maybe we're sliding up towards that 8 range, where those two drop back to being Miami, not obviously losing to Georgia Tech, someone we beat, both being 1 loss. And then it's like Georgia falling back with being 2 losses. Like we're sitting in that 8 range, which really that's only moving up 1 spot because then you got the ACC champ behind you, so you're theoretically sitting at a 9 still because
you're still in a 9 seed.
Yeah,
So that's the question is, if you were to take the rankings now and you put them in the seeding, Oregon's going to have a number 1 seed.
Yep.
Assuming Texas wins the SEC, they're the number 2 seed.
BYU's that 3.
BYU's going to be your 3, and then
Miami's still the 4.
Miami, if they win the ACC, becomes your 4.
Yep.
Then at 5, you end up with Ohio State. 6, you end up with Penn State.
Yep.
7, IU. And then 8,
Tennessee.
And then Notre Dame ends up at 9.
Yep. So that would be.
We would go to Tennessee for a first round playoff game.
Yep. Well, let's hear it, man. What's your excitement on that one?
That'd be a tough game. I love Smokey and those Tennessee Volunteers. I sing Rocky Top every time I get into that state.
It's a
That'd be
great
awesome
atmosphere.
It would be an awesome atmosphere for Notre Dame go down and if we got to go on the road, that would be a great place to go on the road.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds. Not that far of a drive.
I think
and a witness.
I think it's a game that Notre Dame can absolutely win.
Yeah.
I don't fear Tennessee in such a way that I'm like, because they've got a good quarterback who can throw the ball. He's mobile, but I think if we force him into being one-dimensional throwing the ball, our defensive backs would match up well.
Yeah.
I like our chances. Now, I know Tennessee's got a really good defense, and that's like, okay, what are we going to do to attack that defense?
Yeah.
I expect a little bit of a low-scoring game if we end up going to play.
Yeah, Tennessee's a team where I'm not like, oh my gosh, I don't want to play them, but looking at some of the other matchups, like, well, I'd probably rather play IU or Penn State, though. You know what I mean?
Given my druthers.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Tennessee's not a team I'm like, oh my gosh, I can think they'll
give me BYU, give me SMU, give me Clemson, give me Penn State.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, those are teams I feel a lot better
Notre Dame wins
about.
by 2 scores, on most of those.
But I still think the way the thing plays out, if we're in that 8-9 game, it's probably a Friday night at Tennessee.
You think so? Friday night?
I think Notre Dame.
It would be interesting to see what game you get the Friday, Saturday, because that's the first round. Like, they don't want to do it.
Feels like your 8-9 game is going to be, and maybe that's your 5-12 game. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. But all that being said and done, I feel like the SEC is going to have some more losses come out. I still think Notre Dame is going to slide itself into that top 8 seed area.
Yeah.
I think we're going to find ourselves between 5 and 8, and I think that gives us a home game.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that.
If Texas A&M can just figure out a way to win this SEC, then we're going to get a home game.
Oh,
that's the big one. If Texas A&M can figure it out, get that win against Texas, seal and get to the SEC championship game. That's gonna be so good for Notre Dame. Like that lost South Carolina, I think.
Well, how many losses does Tennessee have right now? They've got
One loss. Yep.
And Georgia has 2.
Yep.
And Tennessee and Georgia play each other
this weekend.
So if Tennessee wins that game, Georgia's at 3 losses. They got to fall back in the SEC.
Yeah.
And if Tennessee loses that game, they're going to fall back in the
Yep.
SEC. So I think either one of those teams are going to fall behind us in the ranking after they play each other. I think. I could be wrong. There could be that bias that, hey, you lost to a good team. Again, I say that because of what I saw with Penn State.
Yeah. So if the SEC's championship was today, it'd be Tennessee versus Texas A&M in the SEC championship. So not even Texas, which is kind of ironic because they're only 4-1. So they played one less game where Tennessee and Texas A&M both are 5-1.
Yeah. Well, but that's going to shake itself out.
Yep.
If Tennessee wins out their schedule, they've deserved it. If A&M wins out their schedule, they've deserved it.
Yeah.
Like I said, Tennessee has to play Georgia.
Yep.
That's not going to be an easy game.
No.
And I saw some stuff on social media this morning. People from Georgia, players talking about like they do not want to feel this way again. Yada yada. They're saying all the right things. And a Georgia team, and I've said this a few weeks back. Georgia's the team that I'd be most concerned about us playing
in the first round.
Yeah. And in Georgia, like with a chip on its shoulder, could be a very tough out.
Yeah,
for sure.
So let's go into teams we think are, you don't want to say locks, but teams that unless they get completely upset, you think are going to be in at this point. Here, you want to hear mine?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So at the top, you got Oregon.
Guaranteed.
I think Oregon's locked in. I'm not there yet on Ohio State. They're very close to being, but I'm just giving you the ones where I'm like, I don't see the situation you miss this. I think Ohio State is probably that 90% out. I'm going 95 plus. How about that?
I think Ohio State's beatable.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be interesting because Ohio State IU play this weekend.
Yep. Nope. Next week.
Next weekend.
Next game. Yep.
But that game I think is going to dictate a lot. Whoever wins that game is definitely a lock.
See, that's where I'm different from you. I think IU's already a lock because all they've got to do is beat Purdue. Unless, here's what I'll say, IU can't get blown out.
Yeah.
IU can't get blown out by Ohio State. If they give it a 14-point game or less.
So you're saying if Ohio State loses to IU, you think Ohio State's out?
They'll fall a lot more. I think they'll hurt them a lot more because they'll be 2 loss.
See, that's where I think Tuesday is going to be so interesting. And who knows?
But Ohio State's going to be at 2, so the odds of them falling 10 spots is going to be slim to none.
They're not going to fall out.
So Ohio State's probably in.
Yeah. How many SEC teams and how many Big Ten teams are going to get in? It's got to be 4 apiece.
It seems like right now you're going to have.
And then you're
8 of those. You're going to have 3. No, it can't be, because then that'll be, I guess, 2 other conferences champs would put you at 10. Got Notre Dame
at 11.
Group of 5.
In your group of 5. That would be your 12. I think that's what the makeup's going to be.
Probably a little bit will be.
And then the question is, which teams are those 4 Big Ten teams? Which team are those 4?
I think it's going to be Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, IU. It's got to be.
Yeah. And then you go to
Then you're going to have.
SEC.
SEC is harder because like Texas, Georgia this weekend, or Tennessee, Georgia this weekend. Then you're going to have Texas A&M play. Old Miss will be interesting. Bama, I think, is the team that's going to be in.
They're hot.
And they're not going to
They shouldn't lose here on out.
No, they've got 3 games. They're not going to make the SEC championship unless something crazy happens because they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th in the SEC standings right now. They've lost to Old Miss. They've lost to Tennessee, 2 teams that will have the head-to-head. They're not going to make the SEC championship, which is a great thing for them because they've got Mercer, Oklahoma, and Auburn left on their schedule. And Mercer's the 9-1.
I can say Mercer's the toughest game on their schedule.
Besides that, they've got Oklahoma at 5-5 and Auburn at 3-6. So I think Alabama's they're a team that's like, you're in. Like, congrats.
Yeah, just take. I think they're just take care of business.
Yeah.
Don't be a 3-loss team and you're in.
Yeah. No reason they should lose any of those games.
So, and again, I think Alabama becomes a dangerous team in the playoff, but a beatable team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's going to be the interesting part of it is how the whole thing's going to shake out.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We are soon know a little bit more come Tuesday.
Yeah. We'll maybe feel like we know more. We'll have more to talk about right about that. Just like, I don't know if the committee, I mean, it's a tough one. I don't envy that position because there's so many teams where it's like jockeying for positions right now, like we said, that it's just, I don't know where you put them.
Yeah. So what do you got rankings wise, Maddie? You got a thought on that?
I'm not going to tell you where I think they're going to go.
Fair enough.
But I think Ohio State's in. I think Oregon's in. I think the Tennessee Volunteers are in.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're in.
Yeah.
And sadly, I think IU's in. But put us at IU or bring IU to us. That's going to be the easiest win of the season.
Yeah, I would love.
It'll be interesting for the state of Indiana, and both of the games will be packed, and a lot of smack talk will be present.
Yeah.
But I do not see them as a threat in any sport, let alone this year in football. I see that they're undefeated, but
who they play?
to who?
Yeah.
And even if so, give them. So you brought up the Purdue game at the end of the season. They can be undefeated all year long, but still choke at the Purdue game because it's more of a mental aspect.
Yeah.
In a sense.
And Purdue sucks right now in football.
No, they do. In football, they do suck, but Purdue would come out and play
IU
a mediocre game, and then IU would end up.
That'd be the most IU football thing to do.
And Purdue gave Illinois a shot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had Illinois in the top 25.
Yeah.
So it's not outside the realm. And we saw we played Purdue. We felt like their quarterback wasn't that bad.
No.
He had a lot of guys in the hands that drop balls. So if they have a good day, they could have a good day.
Have a good day too.
Yeah, they could have a good day.
Yep.
So, I think
is that game at IU this year or at Purdue? I can't remember.
I don't even know.
I believe it's at Ross-Ade.
Okay. Is it at Purdue?
I believe so.
All right.
Could be wrong, but Carter's gonna fact check it right now.
Let me see if I get that. Yeah, it'll be a minute, but just trying to think. I mean, I think you're right. I think it is at Purdue.
Yeah. So I mean, I think ACC champions in. I don't. And we had this conversation earlier. I don't think the loser of the ACC championship.
Oh no, it's at Memorial.
It's at Memorial.
Yeah.
I don't think the loser of the ACC is in.
No.
And I don't think the loser of the Big 12 game is in.
No,
I think only the winner makes it in. And I think then to your point, I think it's the loser of the Big 10 and the loser of the SEC both make it in.
Yeah.
And then it'll be the champion, the loser, and then two at larges.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Alabama's sitting in a great spot.
Yeah.
So and I think that's where IU's in a great spot. IU may not make the Big 10 championship,
which would be great for them.
But
I mean, I guess if they make the Big 10 championship, though,
they're still in.
They beat Ohio State. Then you're basically saying so.
Yeah. So if they, and I will take them a lot more serious if they beat Ohio State.
Yeah. I guess the worst case for IU is if they beat Ohio State, or if Ohio State beats them by 21 points. And then Ohio State the following week turns around and loses to Michigan. And then Ohio State goes and loses to Oregon by 35. And then it's like, well, you just got smacked by two good teams. Like, I think that's the only situation where IU's not in. But I don't see Michigan beating Ohio State. So I don't think IU has to worry about that.
I think Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, IU are your four Big 10.
Yeah, and that might even put Penn State in the conference championships. I don't know. I don't know how that would work out. But
yeah, I'm not this whole conference thing. I'm a Notre Dame guy. When it comes to football.
Not my problem.
All right. Well, hey, I think we just got to sit and wait.
Yeah.
See what Tuesday brings. And then for us, as the Irish,
get
ready for Virginia.
Yep. Gotta win.
Next
3 guaranteed
Virginia
games, right?
We got 3 games guaranteed.
Senior night. Senior day, I guess.
Senior day. And then I'm so excited. We got senior day, and then we get to travel out to New York, go see the Yankee Stadium.
Yep.
And then we get to finish up at SC.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to the next 3 games for different reasons, but I'm looking forward to all of them.
Yeah. I'll be getting excited for this time of year.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Shout out to all of you.
Shout out to everybody.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Irish 365 podcast.
You can find us wherever you get your podcast.
We are on YouTube, X, Instagram, and Facebook.
Just search for Irish 365 Pod.
And you can always reach us at our email, irish365pod@gmail.com.
Good night.
And God bless.